I'm Kiwi Dazz, and in this video, I'll show you how to mount these cabinet hinges in your custom cabinet door and frame. I found the installation information seriously lacking, and some of the necessary details impossible to find, even online. I've installed a bunch of these hinges and struggled through the challenges, so I figured I'll make this nice little video for people to follow and get their hinges mounted more easily. I'll be mounting these Hafele, however you say it, hinges, but the instructions should also work for any of this type of cabinet hinge that requires you to drill this large recess into the cabinet door. This type of hinge are a popular choice, as although they are a little trickier to mount, they have a number of benefits. Firstly, they are three-way adjustable, which means you can get all your doors all nicely lined up and closing perfectly. I'll explain how to do all that later in the video. They also come in a dizzying array of options. Overlay, when you want to cover the cabinet edge. Half overlay, when you want to cover the cabinet partially. Maybe two doors will share a cabinet edge, or maybe you want to expose the cabinets for effect, like I did here. And Inset, where the door sits inside of the cabinet frame, which I will be demonstrating as it was the best option for the secret door I'm working on in our bedroom. Check out that video on my channel. These hinges are spring-loaded and stay in the open and closed position, and come in a range of opening angles as well as soft close, like these ones I installed in my living cabinets. I'm not going to use a soft close for this door, as I'm going to install a push-to-open device instead, as I want to avoid having a visible handle on my secret door. The first thing you need to do is work out how many hinges you need for the size of your door. My door is quite large, so I needed 3, but I went for 4 as the hinges are sold in pairs. I start by mounting the plate that attaches to the inside of the cabinet frame. I mark out for evenly spaced hinges. I start by marking out the center line for all the hinges, as I will need to mark out the door to match these later. I then mark out the mounting holes in the cabinet. This is the instructions, just one tiny little piece of paper, poorly printed, for mounting dimensions on the side of the cabinet. Blurry. These are 32mm apart, which makes them 16mm each side of my center line. To save time, I use an adjustable square to mark their location back from the front of my cabinet frame. I'll use this method again later and explain how to do it. The dimensions for this is 37mm from the back of the cabinet door. As my door is inset, I also add the thickness of the door, 18mm. So I mark the holes at 55mm from the cabinet's edge. If you've got overlay hinges, the dimension will be 37. I use a small nail to indent the marks to make it easier to hit them with the drill. It doesn't tell you anywhere here what dimension your drill hole should be. The drill bit you use, it's 5mm. I drill the holes first with a smaller drill bit and then finish off with the 5mm bit. This helps to keep it all accurate. With the plates mounted on the cabinet, you need to make corresponding location marks on the door. You can either hold your door up against the cabinet and transfer the marks over, or measure the marks out, making sure to allow for any overlap or gaps at the top and bottom. As I want my door to fit without any gaps and my cabinet is a cupboard, I climbed inside while my helper held the door in place and I transferred over the marks. You need to have your 35mm Forstner bit. The reason you need a Forstner bit, they have like a flat bottom. The next thing you need to be able to do with your drill press is drill the correct depth, that depth. Let's check, 12mm, and you've got an 18mm thick cabinet. Don't have huge amounts of meat left over beyond your drill bit. Now, my drill press has seen better days. My depth stop left the building. Even though I don't have a depth stop, I can still set my depth. The drill press bottoms out. I'm gonna bring my table up, the right depth, lock my bed in place. That should be about right. Got the depth stop set. Let's just check it. Look at that, it works. The important thing is, it's not coming out of the back here, so that's step 1. Step 2, you've got to work out how far away from this edge does the circle need to be. I gotta tell you, this is the reason I can make this video, is they try and sell you these plastic templates so that you can mark this out properly, right? They'd sold out of the actual size I wanted because these hinges come in a multitude of layout. It's critical that you have this mounted the right depth away from the edge of your door frame, and they just put like an E millimeters, because, you know, I just look on here and I go, oh, that's E millimeters right there. I went inside my cupboard, mounted one of these, had a look, measured on a little scrap of wood, and I went probably 5 mil. Why don't they tell me it was 5 mil? If you've got an overlay hinge, it might be more than that. Depends then on how much your door overlay the edge of your cabinet. Inset is 5, overlay is 5 plus overlap. So that's 5 millimeters from the edge of my drill hole here to the edge of my cabinet. Half of a 35 millimeter drill bit is 17.5 plus the 5 millimeters, 22.5. How groovy are these? Get your point in the spot before you start it. Hold that while you turn it on. Let's go see if that worked. 5 mil. This particular measurement can actually be adjusted if you don't get it perfectly. I have made my door really tight because I'm trying to make a secret door. You might not. These hinges are called 45/9.5. They don't tell you what that refers to. 45 millimeters is the distance between those two little holes that mount this into the door, and 9.5 is the distance. Yeah, nah, Kiwi Dazz, actually the 9.5 is just there to confuse people as far as I can tell. Luckily, I found this flyer at the store while editing the video that gives some dimensions. I used the 9.5 where it says 5.5, and luckily it still worked out okay. Even this flyer doesn't tell you what E is, for crying out loud. But you watch this video so you know. Go on and hit subscribe to help others find this information too. Yeah, I'm ready to mark it up on my cabinet door and go for gold. I like doing this kind of thing using these adjustable square. You just mark the end of the ruler after you've set your dimension. Now, because you're marking the end of the ruler and there's a thickness of your pencil lead, you just underdo your dimension by a tiny amount, and you check it if it's critical, like this one. By Jingo's, certainly looks like it. That's for my center line of my drill bit. I got 4 hinges I'm mounting. Now I need my 32 measurement. Back it off of here. So this is for the 2 screw holes. So I'm not running this through that center line, and the reason is I don't want to accidentally put my other big drill in the wrong place. Now we just need to mark out the 45 gap between those 2 screws. Now I'm going for 22.5, half of 45 millimeters. When you're marking your crosshair for the drill bit, go a bit further. It's much better if you've got a large crosshair. It just makes it way easier to line up your drill. So I just put little marks and I'll make them longer with that in a second. So I've marked it out. We've got 22.5 millimeters to the center of the circle, the 35 millimeter diameter circle. We have got 32 millimeters here to there, and then we've got 22.5 millimeters from the center line to there, which is 45 millimeters. So those are my 2 little screw holes, and that's my big drill hole. I'd say that's bingo bango. On a punch doesn't really work because a punch is too blunt. So get yourself a nail that you can visually place on the center of all your crosses. You don't want to drill all the way through. If you're lucky enough, you can put the drill bit deep enough into your chuck. Measure your screws. They are millimeters. Make sure that's really tight so it doesn't slip. If you can't get your drill bit all the way into your chuck, you wind some tape around your drill bit. Use that tape as your depth stop. While I'm at it, since I've got this 1.5 millimeter drill bit in my drill, I'm going to mark the center point with it for my larger hole. I wouldn't recommend using your drill. Do it by hand so you don't strip out your MDF. Bit of pressure, and that looks like it's a good one. 1.5 millimeter, people. 12 millimeters deep to the drill press. That's not a bad idea. Just held it down lightly and then just wiggled the board into the hole. I think I got it. I could probably clamp it just to be a bit fancy. That's just loose. A little testaroonie. That looks good. Oh, looks so good. The adjustment of the hinges, the back screw here makes the door go in and out. With 4 hinges on here, you want to be adjusting them all at the same time, the same amount, quarter of a screw turn at a time. Otherwise it can get really tricky. If you just have a top and bottom, you can kind of mess around with it more. It's a lot easier. Because sometimes you want to tilt the door, which means you want to come out of the top and at the bottom. That's this second screw in the actual hinge part, the screw that is closest to the door here. So the one at the back is for moving in and out. The one at the top is for moving in and out this way, and it's counterintuitive. If I tighten the screw, it pushes the door out. If I loosen the screw, it pulls the door in, and that towards the hinge. The only other adjustment you have is that the mounting of the brackets to the cabinet, or in my case, the door frame, has slots so that they can slide up and down. So what I did was I got the top one in the right spot, nice and tight, and I actually loosened all the others off. I can see why they sell these plastic templates. If they had had one at the shop, I probably would have bought it. Rather than a soft close, I'm using a push to open device. You have to click and push the door shut. Put this where you would actually push the door. This is IKEA one. There's like a little plastic bracket that you put your screws through and mount to the wall, and then this simply just clicks onto it. That's all there is to it. It's got a release so that you need to be able to actually push it beyond that point. You need to make sure that if your door's hard against your shelves, you won't be able to activate that little, it's only like a millimeter or 2 that needs to activate. If you twist this, it adjusts the depth of the shut. All the way in is around like 4.5 millimeters, and all the way out 10 millimeters. And if I go for like 6, then I can adjust it in or out. 6 millimeters plus my cabinet is 18 millimeters is 24. I'll put a little line across, mark it 24, mark my holes. Check it out! Oh, it's a bit too deep. Wanted a couple more. Oh, that is superb. No handle necessary. That's the thing of beauty. I'm really happy with how that's turned out. Check out my other video on secret door, feature wall, because the feature wall and the secret door are kind of like working together. Otherwise, worked out perfect.